Welcome in, YouTubers. Just want to let you know we're still working on the Mustang. Today, we're going to try a little bit of Bondo, layer number 1 on the rust spot that we've been working on. We'll see how it goes. Never done it before. Let's check it out.
All right, glad you're in today. We are going to attempt to do some Bondo. Never done it before, but we're going to give it a shot. The Bondo we're using today is a Fiberglass Bondo filler. And if you recall in my last video, we had some holes from rust that we cut out and we used some rust killer. And so now we're going to finish up that work, put some Bondo in here and see where we go. Now, as you can see on this, we're gonna have to stir it up. We know that we have some hardener to add in. We'll make sure that we get that mixed properly, and we'll do that in short order. First, let's go ahead and back the car out. We want to make sure that we have plenty of ventilation. We don't want to have any issues without ventilation. We are going to make sure that we wear gloves, and we're going to wear masks. And now we're adding the hardener. Again, we've never done this, so what we're going to do here is mix the Bondo up with the hardener. We were told not to swirl it. We're told to make sure that we fold it until we get a consistent color. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to mix it all around, trying to fold it and not swish it around like you would stirring or something like that. All the research I've done says that the reason you're going to fold it is you do not want any bubbles when it hardens up on the car. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we do this the way that has been described. This stuff is kind of coming along. It has changed color from that dark black to more of a green. So we'll continue mixing this in and make sure that we get a nice good mix. Now, as you can see, we're using a spatula, Bondo spatula, to make sure that we're getting that nice even spread when we put it upon the car. This doesn't look like what I've seen in some of the videos that people have done using Bondo on boats and stuff. This looks a little more like Play-Doh than kind of what I've seen the other people do. I think we're almost done here stirring this up. This is taking a little longer than what I've seen, but being the first time that we've done it, we want to make sure that we get it all mixed in pretty well. Looks like we're having good old time playing with Play-Doh as kids, but I can tell you for sure this is not Play-Doh. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and put this on the car. Got it all mixed well. And there you can see, I don't know if you noticed from the previous video, but I did find another bubble and I went ahead and addressed that. So you'll see that to the right of where we're working right now. We had to go ahead and clear that off, and so we're just going to make this all one patch with the Bondo. I didn't find any more rust, so hopefully this will be the only patch we have to do here. And it looks like the Bondo is already hard, so I don't know if we took too long or added too much. Oh yeah, that's okay. I don't think, yeah, it's too hard now. Great job we did on our first go with Bondo. That is not gonna do it. So let's go ahead and see if we can take this off. That's way hard already. That's we can't do anything with that. It should be more like a mud where it kind of just skims over the car there. That is more like glue. So we're gonna have to go ahead and clean that off. So here I am, we're gonna sand that down. We're sanding that all off. We don't want any of that debris. Get this all sanded. Also, while I'm doing it, it looks like the fiberglass is still there, so that's good. I was worried about when sanding that we get through the, I didn't want to go through the fiberglass, but now it's nice and smooth for sure, fitting in the hole. And some of that first bit of Bondo's also filling in that second hole. So while I'm sanding, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that there's not any paint. So I'm going over it just a little bit to make sure. Checking the smoothness to make sure that it's nice and smooth. Checking, make sure that that stuff's not gonna fall away. As you can see, we continue to sand. I'm using drill bit and I'm using 80 grit sandpaper for this. It seems to be working well to remove all of this. And so when I'm done sanding, I'll clean this off. I was going to use a degreaser, but I decided instead of a degreaser that I'm going to go with 91% alcohol for cleaning. Looks like for some of this it needed to be sanded more, so going ahead and sanding that. But that was a good first try. I don't know what your first attempt at Bondo, if you've ever done it, looked like, but that definitely was not where we wanted to be. I'm just making sure that we get all the Bondo off that we put on there. I'm also making sure it's smooth. I have a hand block there, soft block. Just checking underneath the lip of the hood. I don't want to change the edges. I don't want to give it more edge than we needed. I think I'm going to invest in a harder block and a longer block so that I can get better mileage out of each scrub, so to speak. It took a long time to get all that sanding done. And again, I'm just, if there's any Bondo left, I'm just trying to get that all off there. I don't want anything falling off when I apply the coat again. So I'm just double checking it, doing it 4 or 5 times. You can tell me if that's the wrong thing or not. Like I said, it's the first time attempting to Bondo. And as you can see, with that first coat, looks like I'm doing more sanding than putting Bondo on. You know, I'm awfully close to that Ford emblem. So here in a second, I'm gonna cover that up. Don't want to get it scratched up or anything. I had a little bit of trouble with the controlling the wheel. So I don't want to gouge a perfectly good emblem to the car. As you can see here, quite a bit more of that Bondo has come off. So again, I want to make sure it's pristine and clean. Probably a drill. I don't know if that's the best tool. That's what I had. So that's what I used. Yeah. So here's the second try. That looks way better. One of the things that I was watching said that once you get this on here, you want to keep it on for about 10 minutes and then use a cheese grater. Right here we found a pit that we wanted to fill. I think we're just making it worse, but there's a pit there that we're going to need to address. So we have this on here. We're going to wait about 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll give it another go. So it's been about 10 minutes now. We're going to use a cheese grater, and most of the time when they were doing it, it was almost waxy and hard. For us, it looks like it's just pulling it right on off. It's not cheese grating anything. It's just removing the Bondo right off. So here we are with attempt number 2, and I think we just messed it up. Trying to use a cheese grater. The idea with this cheese grater is that once it hardened up a little bit, we would be able to kind of plane it and make it more, make sure all the highs and lows were removed. This time it just was not hardened up in the 5 to 10 minute time frame. So we're gonna sand it again. This time I'm gonna use sandpaper. Again, I think this is 80 grit. My plan for this is to make sure that, well, again, we don't want to add any edge to the lid, but I'm going to sand this down and see if I can salvage what we did get of the Bondo. So I'm sanding it and making sure that it's nice and smooth and see if we can salvage some of that. What I'd like to do is make some progress. I don't want to keep having to sand the Bondo off every time I make a mistake, but cool thing is that if we do need to start over, My arm still works, the drill still works, so I can definitely sand it down. So the reason I chose to go with the sandpaper instead of the drill or the block is I just wanted to make sure that I didn't take too much off. And so this way I felt like I could feel the highs and lows and kind of even it out as I go. The highs and lows don't seem to be cooperating with me, so I continue to sand. And here's what it looked like once I got done sanding. So we're gonna go ahead, leave it right there. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. You haven't done it already? Don't forget to smash the thumbs up if you like the content, and of course, leave comments. I love the interaction.